Hey everybody, I decided to do a weekly update because things just come and go so quickly in the garden. So here are some irises. This one right here is buckskin. We have concertina back there. And this one right here is called Murphy's Law. It's one of my favorites. And you can see that all the roses in this bed are putting on some nice juicy buds. This one is Distant Drums, and it looks like it's going to win the race for blooming. It may just be the first one this year. That one's Iris Web. This is Pumpkin Patch, and it's got a few buds on it. I moved it from the backyard. And then over there is Hot Cocoa, and it is loading up with some buds. And then in the distance over there, I've got Coco Loco. Here's that peony tree I was working on the other day. And over here, last year, I planted Claire Austin, and she is actually putting on some buds this year. She didn't bloom at all last year, so I'm very excited about that. And you can kind of see that one's working on preparing to open. And then I also have right over here in this corner, and it may have too many things around it, that's apricots and cream. And then there's no way I can show you all of this without showing you the mess that is my yard. But this right here is the kale getting ready to bloom. And I discovered that kale blooms a couple of years ago at an end of season sale, and I loved it, so I decided to try it here. This one has little yellow flowers, so that'll be really pretty. You can see there are quite a few buds getting ready to open on that. Just load it up, see if I can get it closer in. So lots of buds. And then over here, we'll look at my peony bed. This is Abalone Pearl, and it shows you right now a really good succession of peonies that opened a week ago or several days ago. They're just about white. And the peonies that are just opening, like this one right here. I think this one was actually closed earlier today, and now it's opening up. So you can see all the different stages that are Abalone Pearl. It's a beautiful peony. And you can even see where, let's see if I can find one that's just opening. This peony, the stamens are a dark pink, or I think that's what those are called. I honestly don't know. I probably need to study my peony parts. But when you look at the ones that have been open for a while, see how they're faded right in the middle there? So dark to light, really pretty. This again is Concertina, and this right here is Harvest of Memories. I think Harvest of Memories is a historic peony, but I could be wrong on that. And then I have several others that are preparing to bloom. This one right here is called Out of the Blues. And like I said, the Purple Germanic I don't have a name for that one. It's a no ID. But it didn't really bloom very well this year. I'm not sure why. It probably just needs to be thinned. My fingers are now sticky, probably from touching the peonies. This iris right over here is called Alacala. It is a historic iris, and I like it. It has really beautiful color, but it falls over, so I don't like it all that much. My New Dawn is loaded with buds. I don't know if you can see them here. This particular rose, it looks like a fairy tale when it opens up because of the sprays of roses. So it's putting on all those beautiful buds, and then everything will bloom kind of at once for the first time. This is Indian Chief. I have Indian Chief from two different vendors. So this one, I'm not quite sure who this came from. Maybe Stout. I don't know. And let's see, right here, Dazzling's getting ready to bloom. I usually have several stalks of Dazzling, and I don't have them this year, so we'll see. I've got some coneflower that's coming up. That's a later in the summer bloomer. There's also one right there. I probably need to move that one away from the base of that iris because it doesn't do as well there. This right here is called Cat's Eye. And this whole bed area I'm going to actually dig out. Right now it's just a holding place for a bunch of junk. But I'm actually going to dig this all out, and then I'm going to spread my irises out a little bit so they have a little more room to grow. And I'm hoping to maybe plant a couple of Bliss Parfuma roses in here so that this bed continues to have some color in the summer. My knockouts are getting ready to bloom. Lots of buds there. I cut them all the way back every year. They just get really damaged on the stems, and every year they come back like a vengeance. So it's great. I don't have to worry too much about that. My little pot of Cosmos. I love this little pot. I found it used, and it does have some damage, and I just point the damaged part away because I just love the little pot so much. Oh, I missed, let me see here, my garage. You saw that. You saw that. Anyway, my Strawberry Hill is loading up with buds. This is its first bloom. Well, it did bloom a little bit last year. I bought this last year and planted it, so it's also getting ready to bloom. Lots of buds. I think I counted 23 earlier. So for a 1-year-old plant in my garden, I think that's pretty good for the first bloom. And it will continue to bloom throughout the season. Here is Pearled Lemon Cream Peony, and it is going to move. I've enjoyed these blooms, and I am getting ready to move it once it's done blooming, but I wanted to let it bloom here first. Excuse my toes. I garden in my bare feet sometimes. This right here is Eden, and there are several buds on it, but a couple that are nice and juicy. Like I said, I know people have a hard time with Eden not blooming in your gardens, and I don't know why, because it does bloom in mine. This is its first, I think it's its first full year in the garden. I think I purchased it last year, and it bloomed last year too. So I did buy them at Heirloom, so maybe that's the difference. And then as you come in the garden gate, I guess I should have shown this before, evidence of continuous gardening. It would have been pretty over the garden gate, but anyway, here's the backyard garden progress that's been made this year and last year on trying to make this a cottagey style bed. Again, I don't know which peony this is, or peony, which iris this is. I'm going to have to look up my records and see what it is. Here's some Guillaume. That's called Blazing Sunset, I think. And there is a Victoria Louise Oriental poppy. Not quite open yet, so we'll show you that here in a couple days when it opens. There's more of that fried green tomatoes. I think that's the last bud on it. There may be one more. It's kind of folding down on itself. And I'm going to pause this here. Yeah, it's all folded up. I'm going to pause this here because I think I just heard my son-in-law come up. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it. False alarm, I missed it. Or false alarm, he is not here yet, but he will be. I missed this. This is my Blue Moon Wisteria, and I actually have a bud. So like I said, last time I cut this back, way back every year to the neck, and it always comes back, and it always does really well. And I have kind of been sorry I planted it, but when it blooms, I'm always happy I have it. So I'm looking forward to the bloom this year. And then I get to go back this way and we can look over the garden gate into the garden. So again, this is where I was talking about that poppy right there. I have some dahlias and fried green tomatoes. That's where I left off. Fried green tomatoes is my almost done blooming. I think I have one more on there, if I see correctly. Got the Masterpiece lupine doing really well. There's that allium. I want to say these are gladiators. I'm not sure. I haven't loved them. They just haven't. I planted 15 and they didn't do so great, but I have a couple left. I'll probably plant more, but this time I'll plant them in a bunch. Oh, hey! All right, I'm going to pause now. Okay, no idea where I was. This is First Prize. Oh yeah, I was looking at the lupine. That iris right there that hasn't bloomed yet is Backdraft. That's a stout iris. And then all of my roses back there are budding out. Very exciting. And we will come back to all of those when they actually bloom. I was talking about alliums, wasn't I? Okay. Here is that royal wedding poppy, Oriental poppy. I just planted the poppies this year, so I'm sure that they're going to kind of spread a little bit. Very excited about that. This peony right here, I think is Daybreak, and I will show you that when it blooms, probably in the next few days sometime. Looks like one is getting ready right there to bloom. More lupine. All the Nepeta. Not really much to show over here yet. Like I said, all the roses are putting on buds. Still have some roses to plant. The Palatine roses that I needed to plant last week are still needing to be planted, and the 4 James Galway roses from David Austin. Let's see, over here again, my Desdemona's put on tons of blooms or buds, and looking forward to that blooming. And I think that you saw the build here of the pergola. We just completed that build week before this past week. I have my bougainvillea that's doing really well. I actually need to cut back some of those longer stems with leaves, and that will encourage more blooming of the bracts, which are, I guess, leaves that start out, I really don't know. I think they're separate from a leaf, but they're called a bract. We moved our second apple tree right here for now, but it's not going to stay there. I think that's about it, honestly. There's really not much else blooming here. I just wanted to show you a quick view. Sorry, the doghouse is... We don't even use that doghouse. We need to sell that doghouse because we have little dogs in there inside. But yeah, that's it so far. My Geum. These Geum right here are not blooming yet because they came up in the garden, and then this Geum over here is newly planted, and that's already blooming because, you know, that happens at the garden center. They bloom. Lots of peonies on the gardenia. Lots of buds. Actually, that's Jan Van Loon. That's gardenia over there. But everything's doing really well, and even those roses that I was worried weren't going to put on any foliage from Life and Rose, there's some little life happening over there. So very excited about that. And with that, I'm going to say bye-bye for now.